Welcome to the first, maybe the second, third sloped webinar. Still waiting for people to jump in, it looks like. Uh, so you're going to see me glancing at my other monitor. And so welcome, my name's Keith Brooks. I'm one of the founders of Sloped, and with my other two partners, Joanne Swisterski and Kendall Springer. And Joanne is with Swisterski Design. Kendall is with Cornerstone Design Group, and I own K Brooks Design Studio. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we started looking into freelance help for our studios and businesses. And we couldn't find what we were looking for, so we went down the road to try and start something. And Sloped is now a presence in the community, and we're excited about that. So many people jumping in right now. I'll probably go a little slower since we're going through it here. We all own fully functioning design business, and we have gone through our own travails for full SketchUp and layout workflows, and we have all gone through the travail of trying to find freelancers to help us with our businesses. And we're really excited to present this topic. I am streaming live from Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So if you hear me reference tonight, it's because it's night here, not the United States. This is a personal thing that my family's going through right now. And so just now you know why. Um, this is what I think many of the people that are watching might categorize themselves as. I see some names in here, even some SketchUp officials, um, and some others who I consider to be SketchUp experts, even beyond me. You would be a power user. Maybe you're curious about what's layout ready modeling is. That's why you're here. Maybe you're layout confident. You have a workflow, but maybe there's some frustrations. Um, I might categorize myself in that the layout confident realm. A few frustrations, but my frustrations maybe have more to do with the software and things that aren't present yet. Um, and then you might be a layout beginner, which means you don't have a workflow, but you use layout and it's confusing and it breaks and it bug splats a lot for you. And then there's the layout curious. You don't use layout at all. You, excuse me, somebody just jumped in. You are currently exporting all the stuff that you build in SketchUp out to other apps, AutoCAD, another architectural software, maybe Photoshop, and you haven't really either one been interested in layout or um, you are interested, but it's a little scary. And I understand that. I was there at one time in 2019. Maybe some others in this meeting have also been in that category. So um, that's what I think you are. And so let's just start talking about what layout ready modeling is. We're going to hopefully answer some questions and address some of your concerns. Layout ready modeling is a workflow framework, and it's actually in some ways an attitude, a position you want to take when you're considering documentation. And documentation is the stuff that we make to send to people, which is deliverable. Um, Layout ready modeling is focused on deliverable. It's not focused just on the model. And many times in the SketchUp realm, the community, the wider community of people that use it, The model is the focus, and maybe the render is the focus, but in layout ready modeling, we're focused on what we actually send to our customer in terms of documentation for design, or we send to design build professionals, which is what I call them. Anybody that's going to construct what you design. Generally speaking, we don't send uh, .skp files or .lo files or layout files to build professionals, and most likely not even to our own customers. So they interact with our renders, they interact with PDFs 90% of the time, maybe. If you're into, um, I forgot the glasses, whatever those are called, my brain just forgot. Um, Maybe use the model more intently, but for the average professional user, our deliverable is the PDF. So we want to, in layout ready modeling, make SketchUp serve layout. And so we want to think about SketchUp only as a tool to produce our drawings, not as the end result. And that makes us think about SketchUp differently. And when we think about SketchUp differently, we can address this bottom point, which is we can reduce layout performance issues. Bug splats happen many times because of user inexperience, not because the programs are failing. It's because we don't know how to use SketchUp in a way that makes it easy for layout to process the data. So that's what we want to work on as we go forward. Here's a theory of mine. And if you got your chat open, you can answer the bottom question. All people, this is something I think SketchUp kind of promotes, all people can use SketchUp. And therefore, SketchUp is easy. And I would agree with that particular part of this theorem. The next part says, therefore, layout is easy. And I wonder, do you think that's correct or not correct to assume because SketchUp's easy, layout is easy? And for me, as I've observed our community over the last, I guess it's 8 years now, because so many people can access SketchUp, it is easy. But the assumption when we go to layout is that because SketchUp is easy, layout should just be as easy and it's going to work. And then we get to experience what it's like. So here's my understanding, and perhaps if you know better, you can correct me. Not correct, not correct. Thank you. Um, Pre-1995 drafting, anyone that's in our little meeting here, if you remember pre-95 and you were actually out of school or maybe in school, you remember drafting boards. Back in those days, there were two steps. You did sketches and then you did presentation deliverables on vellum, and that's what you gave to your client. Post 1995, things started to change because AutoCAD became the thing. And maybe my date is wrong for those that know a little more than me. Maybe digital started in 88. I'm thinking mid 90s, it became more of an industry standard for everybody. In that region, we went from drafting board to digital, but the process was basically the same. You did sketches, and then you had presentation deliverables in a single app like AutoCAD. But then SketchUp comes along, and they do this crazy thing. They do sketches, and now we've got a 3D model. And now what do we do with the model? In AutoCAD, you're going to take a screenshot or something like that. If you remember back that far, some people might. But the 3D model then has to, if you're using another app, be exported. But if you're using layout, you have to have a scene. You have to get the image of your view into layout and then combine that with text and image graphics and some form or version of drafting, though maybe in some ways drafting isn't what we do in layout as a AutoCAD would be. So we have to keep that in mind. And then um, we come to these conclusions. What does that mean for us? A 3D model is not 2D drafted line work or even digitally drafted line work. It's not line work at all. It is a model. And when I say it's not line work, when I drafted, I drew it with my hand and I gave it to somebody. That's the interaction. When I drew it in AutoCAD, I then take that and turn it into a 2D flat image. So I'm drawing in 2D and then I present that as a PDF. In a model, because it's three-dimensional, you have to think of your presentation drawings from a totally different perspective. You have to have different understanding, full stop. Uh, uh, One, I think it was Nick Sonder that said this. Whatever you learned in AutoCAD, if you bring it to SketchUp, it will break you. You can't bring AutoCAD mentality into SketchUp because it's 3D, not 2D. So layout is actually easy. This is my third point. Layout is actually easy if you learn to prepare the 3D model part properly. And many people, I would say Matt Donnelly, Nick Sonder, Mike Brightman, I think Mike might be in our meeting here, perhaps. Um, they have made this case very well. I'm standing on their shoulders during this presentation. They're going to hear very many things I've read in their books if they were listening. So this is layout ready modeling. We want to control the SketchUp model in the way SketchUp designs SketchUp to be controlled so that when it talks to layout, the process of creating drawings is just so very simple. So I'm going to show a few examples of what's possible. This is by far not even remotely what's capable. It's just some imagery from businesses that work with us at Sloped and some of the things they produce. This is a medical center by one of our founding partners, Kendall Springer. This is a title page. This layout can produce, this is commercial architecture. So if you're in commercial, if you're interested in commercial, then here you go. This is a title page for a commercial set. This is from another partner out of, I think, Kentucky. And another title page, but beautifully drawn. If you can pay attention just to the really amazing line work in this 3D view, there's a really nice profile edge around the outside, just like architecture school teaches you. And I love that. I love that there's a mix of drawing styles. I think it's probably some kind of either drafted in there by hand in layout, or it might be a stacked viewport, which would be fascinating to know. Next one is by a longtime friend of Slope. This is Lindsay, I think. I think I have that right. I think it's Lindsay's drawing. I think Lindsay's here too. Um, this is a commercial building. This is from a partner that sent us something from Chicago, I believe. This is also a site plan and some existing footage, images, and floor plans. This is an interior kitchen elevation. And this is kind of a take on architectural details per the stylings of Nick Sonder. Layout is capable of doing, I think, anything that's necessary for architecture, unless you want to go down the road of talking about BIM. Then layout is definitely the tool that we don't want to be talking about, perhaps. But in terms of the average small office trying to produce their local content for their customers, LayOut is, in my opinion, and the opinion of my partners and many of the people in the community that are professionals using the tool, is the tool that should be used with SketchUp because it was built to talk specifically with SketchUp. And when you have to export your content to another tool, you break that connection. You break some of the things that you can do with data and text. And those are the things, in my opinion, that are coming down the road, I hope, from the Trimble community to increase the amount of data we can share between SketchUp and LayOut to improve our projects. So enough with the slideshow. Let's go, and I'm going to take a second here and switch to LayOut. And I'm going to do something that make sure I got this correct. Oops, I forgot to reset myself. This is a project that I am currently working on. So this is very relevant. It's something up to date. This is a template that I have produced for my studio. I'm doing some interesting things in here that might challenge your understanding. I'm going to show them off just a little bit because the template itself isn't the focus. I want you to understand what's possible when we do layout ready modeling and prepare our SketchUp model correctly. And how about if I not say correctly? With care and concern and organization, because those three words can mean everything for everybody, but correctly is maybe subjective. So this is a customer of mine on the West Coast, and I do cabinet drawings for him. And I have a title block here that has auto text that is connected to my pages panel. So page 1, those numbers there line up with this here. And we track auto text in the numbering as well through the document setup panel. I'm not going to go into that because auto text isn't the purpose here. It's SketchUp layout ready modeling. So the next thing that I want to cover is, I want to do this one. I'm going to go down to this kitchen because it's nice and big. And we'll close that. I'm going to drag this over here, show you that there's a title block on the side. There was a cover page title block as well. And this is my layer system. And many times we don't think in terms of organization when we're doing layers, but layers should be organized to make them simpler to understand. If you haven't used layout, one of the things about the organization of the layer panel is the top is the thing closest to your eye, and the bottom down here is the furthest away from your eye. If you can imagine looking into the depth of your screen, things at the bottom are underneath things at the top. And that's a very important thing when you use in layout. And we can take advantage of that fact when we talk about stacked viewports. And my template takes advantage of stacked viewports. Looks like I have somebody in my, yeah, there we go. Just had somebody join. So stacked viewports look like this. If you understand the blue dot means something has that layer title connected to it. And so we have a layer attached to every viewport, and each one of these is a viewport of the same exact room. So what I can do is I can shut off each one of these in order. And now you just see text and labels and dimensions. So if I turn on the base level, now you see the cabinets that are on this particular layer. We turn on the next one, which is countertop dashes. And then the next one up, we see surrounding items, which is faucets and appliances and things like that. And then we have wall cabinets, which is in blue, which says something's above a cabinet. And then we have the actual walls. So pretty simple stacked viewport system here. Maybe you've seen this. It's a really interesting way to accomplish traditional line weights and do different things with your drawings. I can't speak highly enough about this aspect of layout. It's a um, very powerful tool in layout to do stacked viewports with layers. I want to also point out that in these, I have this little 3-letter initials here to name each layer in the plans and elevations. That's very important. I'm going to show off something in just here in a second. The next page I want to go to is an elevation. And the elevations are traditional types of drafting. I use a mask line to get rid of anything that's in a section cut because that's my method. I take one thing out of a Nick Sonder book and a Mike Brighton book. Only model what you need to see. Or another one like it, model correctly for scale. If your scale of drawing, and this is 1/2 inch to a foot, is never going to show a nail in a board, don't model the nail because it's just extra weight on the model and layout has to render it. So we don't want that. So I practiced that. It has influenced my template, and many people in the cabinet making or interior design realm will model cabinet interiors. And after doing cabinets for the last 15 years, for my workflow, it's a waste of time. There's other ways to show cabinet interiors, and that's why I use masks here because it actually looks good. It's a traditional drafting method. I'm not concerned about what's in here. I can handle it in another location in my drawings with drawing details or section cuts of a wall. In this case, we might have one here. I want to go to this one though. I want to show this off. This one also has these 5 layers. And I'm going to shut all of these off and just go through them one by one. So these are the walls, and I'm going to show you the SketchUp panel. The SketchUp panel in here will show a file name. It's going to show me the scene. I have an interesting scene solution going on. I don't use section cuts for 80% of my drawings anymore, which may sound crazy, but the drawings you're seeing here do not have section cuts. They are just a unique way of using tags and the 5 standard views with 5 scenes. So that's what I use. I use these 5 scenes, and then I use a lot of tags, and you're going to get to see that right now. So if you look at the style here, I also have this 3-letter moniker in front of my styles. So when I look at STR, walls, exterior doors, and windows, if I go back to my layer, that's what this is called, STR, walls, doors, windows. So now I know what style to place on what layer's viewport. And then I know where to put my walls in a tag, because guess what? Down here in my tag, I have STR structural and I have doors, walls, and windows. So all these get that style and they're put on that particular layer. This is maybe what I would like to call layout ready modeling. It's where I started thinking through this process. And what it does is it allows you to really control what you're doing in SketchUp, because I would know if something needs to be tagged correctly down here. I know it's going to have this particular style, and I know it's going to be in a viewport attached to this particular layer. And that's going to allow me to control what my drawings look like. So if I add this one's a really dark one, and I happened upon this one. I don't know if anybody in the community has seen this or tried it, but I happened upon this one. I have two different styles. This one and this one are basically the same drawing. I can get rid of doors and drawer fronts because they don't show up. They're underneath. But I want you to see what happens. Do you see what happens to the line work? Any drawing, any line work in the center of a door doesn't change. Any line work here, none of this will change, but the outside perimeter will change and get darker, which is a drafting line work technique. It gives the drawing some depth of field, which is a really good thing. And it happened to me by accident. I found this, and I found that it really enhanced my drawings. So I'm sharing it now because, hey, it might be a tip you want to use, maybe not. You can try it. Then we have door swings, and door swings are on their own. Let me just turn this one off. There's the door swings. Let me highlight the viewport, get the SketchUp model. You notice it's the same file. It's got left, and it's got a standard view of left, half-inch scale. It's on the dash, door swing shelf dashes. If I go to objects, it's the only one that's on is dashes, DSH dashes, and I have all these tags, and those are controlling all of these. So objects is that way. And let me just show this too. The tag structure looks like this. I've got 5 levels. All my rooms are in these different spaces. So this is the kitchen. I make sure the kitchen tag is on, and if structural, on this particular one, there's no structural needed because it's just the dashes. I am using this particular elevation, the right wall outer, and elevation groups on this one. Probably I could have these off. And then these are the objects that are on this particular viewport. So I can control everything that's viewed in this viewport, which gives me two powerful things that I want to show you. So this is the mask line. And that's all. So this is the final drawing. It's five viewports. In this particular one, I can use the appliances. They are there. But I found in this particular drawing, it didn't look right. So I just turned it off. And now they're in this other set. So one of the thing I was going to say is this ability. Well, you know what? I just forgot what I was going to say. So I'm just going to move on. I forgot what I was going to say. That happens on live TV or streams or whatever we're doing here. So the next thing that I wanted to show here is I'm going to go here, the pages, and I want to drop down to my wall sections. Oh, and here's a fun one for all of us SketchUp people. This wasn't like this earlier today. Let's reconnect to model. And we don't like it when that happens, but. So let me show you what I've done here, because this is different. I am not pulling these sections out of. Let me see if I can get there's the one I'm looking for. I'm not pulling this out of the main model. This is coming out of a secondary file that I use for sections. And we're going to get over into the SketchUp file here in a second. I'm just laying the groundwork so you can see what we do in my studio. So I've got a section, and then there's a whole series of scenes that I use. In this particular file, I do have set up scenes with pre-established section cuts so I can copy paste out of my main model and then model my cabinet interiors, wall sections, anything that needs to have a cut, and put it in that file, and it is set up currently in my template so that these just auto-populate those particular scenes in my section file. So this page is set up with proxies. If you've heard of that word, we pre-established each one of these pages with the scene and section cut that's in the section file. And when I open up the template for the first time, I already have a list of the sections I need. I delete what I don't need. And then as I model the section file, these get populated with those sections. And then all I have to do is just open the file, update, and these are finished. And this is the same thing that happens with these drawings as well. I don't have to set up any page, any one of these pages in my file, because these all from here on down, actually there's like 80 pages, almost 90 pages in my template file for the main model, because I have proxy rooms with proxy elevations, and they're all set up in here. I model in SketchUp. They auto-populate here. I make some changes, add dimensions and notes, and I'm done. So that's how that works. Let me come back to the sections. So these are just traditional sections. There's nothing special about these in particular, except for the fact that you can have multiple SketchUp files in a layout file. AutoCAD days, that's XREFs. In this reality, it's just importing a SketchUp file. You can have 10 SketchUp files populating one layout file if you wish. I don't know if I would recommend that, but for my work, I just have these two. Sometimes I have a third one for moldings and things like that, but that's just my own workflow. It's nothing anybody else needs to worry about. The other thing that we also have is scrapbooks. And I want to show off, I'm just going to pick a random one here. What's possible with scrapbooks. These are details that can be just thrown in. And most of us know about this. These are pre-populated models with notes, just like the Nick Sonder or even my partner Kendall, his construction drawings. And these are pre-done. They are typical. They have construction methods to them. There's tags, and some parts can be removed if you need that. Sometimes you have a toe kick bottom or you have toe kick feet. So I have a library full of these, and it just depends on the job what I want to pull in. So there's different ways to set up your layout file. And once we get there, then what I want to do is switch over now and show you the SketchUp file that all this is coming from. So give me 1 second while I work to find my SketchUp file. Here. And yeah, this is the section file, so I guess I'll just stay here. Can someone confirm that they're seeing nothing but gray space, no room? Okay, you're seeing that one. All right. Let me switch. There we go. Okay, so this is the room where the kitchen is. And so let me open up the tags. And now you see my tag structure. And this is also in layout, as we saw. And this particular model has these rooms, nothing in four wall. And these different room types are the amount of elevations I can model on, closed rooms. And so this is the kitchen. And not something spectacular. You've seen something like this, I'm sure. But where the power comes in is in how we establish our groups and components. And layout ready modeling, these are the two standards. Everybody that you read about, all the videos you will watch, any of the training seminars, any of the training programs for SketchUp, everyone will tell you put stuff in components or groups. If you have repeatable components, You might want to consider dynamic components, especially if you're in a professional workflow, because that's key. Having something that you can quickly change is vital to good profitability. So this is the rooms. We have structural, as I showed you. We have these different elevations, and I'm just going to quickly show you what happens. All the inners are not in use in this particular one. So these are all the rooms. If I turn off the back, the entire elevation goes away. If I turn off the outer, the entire elevation goes away. And if you want to know how I trickily do elevations now for interiors, this is what an interior elevation looks like if I switch my camera to parallel projection. Now you see how I do my interior elevations without section cuts. And notice that this is here, and you remember this elevation, I pointed it out. We've got something in the way, so this is why we have elevation groups. If I turn off this one, now I can see this, it's in parallel projection. I can stick that on my left. I think it's the left one, it might be well, which one did I turn off? I turned off the front. I don't remember which one it is. Anyway, now you see how I can do it. Put it on the right scene, turn off the tags, no section cuts, no scene building, none of that mess. You don't have to waste time. If you set up your template correctly, if you group and component correctly, if you are careful with your tag system, guess what? Layout is simple. You build your own template, you establish how all these things look on your drawings, you pre-establish it. If you have some similarities between projects, things that you're consistently doing over and over and over again, this method will revolutionize how fast you do drawings. And I can tell you, layout ready modeling's changed my business. I know my partners, it's changed theirs. I've already heard from some other people because of the writing we've been doing at Sloped that this has transformed. Layout ready modeling is how they operate already. So this is not something technically new from Sloped. I think we coined the phrase. I think Mike Brightman actually laughed at me when I said that word, or laughed at all three of us when he was on a meeting with us and said, "Yeah, that's a great phrase. I wish I would have thought of that one." So it's not the concept that's new and exciting. It's just the term. Um, so there you have it. The tag. This is my component tags. Maybe someone might say you got a lot of stuff going on in here, but I have to tell you, um, if I could open up my modeling library and show you, I do very little tagging. I've pre-tagged everything, so when I bring in components from a modeling library, I just throw it in. I go to layout. Sometimes if I'm modeling new things, I might have to do a little bit of tagging, but for the most part, I've done the work to set this up and it's instantaneous. I can go from model to complete drawings practically in layout, and I'm just doing dimensions and notes and layout. The layout part of my process has just been radically transformed. My SketchUp process has been radically transformed because I don't have to do section cuts. I don't have to do scenes for every single room, every single elevation, excuse me. That's a lot of, and for this job in particular, I think there are 20 rooms. That's a lot of scenes, a lot of elevations, a lot of plans, and I lost a lot of money. So um, that's the full presentation here. I'm gonna quickly get back over to my slideshow and let's see if I can find it. There we are. And let's go down. I'm going to have three quick slideshows just to make some conclusions. These are questions you want to ask yourself when you're going through the process of trying to establish something of a workflow or even a template. Workflows are great. I would absolutely encourage you, if you are a design professional making money on your services, templates are the best way to go. They will take care of so many of your problems. Layout will run better, SketchUp will run better. You will have thought through your product line even as a designer. And there's nothing wrong with that. That will help you in the long run. So number two, Number one, what scale are your drawings? This goes back to what Nick Sonder and Mike Brightman talk about. Don't model things that don't aren't seen in your at the scale of your model that you're presenting. Don't do it. Don't waste the time. You don't have to be perfect. Your models don't have to be perfect in every single little detail. Your drawings have to be perfect. So keep that in mind. Number two, what are you actually portraying in your drawings? Think it through, write down notes. What am I actually trying to tell my customer or the people building my product? Don't just assume that you need to model everything. Ask yourself what your drawings need to portray, and then model only what you need for the things that are unique. Do anything you can that's repetitious to model those out into libraries or scrapbooks. Number three, can you portray what is hidden in a different way, which is kind of what my final point of number two was. You can portray it in scrapbooks, portray it in detail libraries, figure something. You can portray it in images even. You can take pictures. There's a lot of different ways to do presentation. You don't always have to model everything. Number four, is the object unique to the project or something you use in every project? Build model libraries, dynamic components, and scrapbook details for all reusable content or objects. Can't encourage this enough. It takes time. There are AutoCAD users who have block libraries into the thousands because it doesn't pay to do work twice. It pays to do it once and reuse, once and reuse. So next slide, SketchUp modeling workflow. Always put things in groups, always, always, or put it in components. If a group repeats, I would say put it into a component, but you might start to think about learning how to do dynamic components if you have a product that has adjustability. It's a certain size one time, a certain size next. It's not changing much, but you can have some alterations. Dynamic components are very powerful. Number three, tags. Always tags. Create a tag system. Think it through. Make it a tree. Learn how to use them in concert with scenes, in concert with styles, and in concert with your viewports. Scenes. Build all the views of your model with scenes. That's a simple one. You have to have scenes to get your stuff to layout. Number five, styles. You can do practically anything with your drawings using styles. Learn how to use them, learn how to build them, learn how to take advantage of stacked viewports. And then lastly, for layout workflows, layout layers control visibility, kind of like Photoshop. You can apply a brush to an object in one layer and then combine it with another object on another layer. And that's the beauty of layers and stacked viewports. When you put these together, you become an artist. And it returns us back to the days of actually caring about what things look like. And we can do it with the tool. We can do it with layout. Layout in its current state can do this. Layout viewports paired with tags, scenes, viewports are the powerhouse of layout presentation. I keep repeating myself. Number three, layout panel. How we control the details of viewports view of a SketchUp model. And I've mistitled that. That should be the SketchUp panel. Learn the SketchUp panel in layout. Learn what it does, learn how to use it. Every single viewport has so much control available. I'm going to take this moment to say this one thing, though. I would love to see uh, the ability in the SketchUp panel and layout to control section cuts. Layout product manager, SketchUp Trimble, please hear me. If you could give us access to the section cuts that we put in our scenes and models, oh, I would love you. Layout linked files. Try connecting multiple SketchUp files with different scale details and model types for more diverse drawing capacity and smaller SketchUp models. And now we have Q&A. We're down. I hit the mark. It's 15 minutes left, which is good. It's about how I timed it. If you have questions, I meant to say this at the beginning. You can write those in the chat. I should have told everybody if you have anything you'd like to say, um, anything you want to know, any questions about the presentation, we can do that right now. There's 15 minutes left. If I don't see any questions come up in the chat, I'll probably move on to the next set of slides. And am I selling my template? Not quite yet. Hoping next week I'll have it ready to go. It's very, very close. Um, but yeah, it will be for sale. There's going to be some instructions. There's a manual. There's all kinds of stuff available with this thing. It's quite robust, and I'm planning on supporting it out for at least a year or two. Got a lot of ideas on how to make it better and grow it. So if it's something you're interested in, um, I don't know how we're going to advertise it. Maybe through Sloped, maybe something else. Why do you stack your viewports rather than control the visibility with tags? Why do you stack your viewports rather than control the visibility? That's a good question, actually, because I want control of the way some content in every elevation looks, and I can't get as much detail as I want in a single elevation. There are ways you could do that if you use traditional drafting inside of layout. You could use shapes and masks and get some interesting results. I've seen some recently that was really impressive, actually. Um, that's got me thinking, but this method allowed me to very easily establish line weight pack type styles and apply those styles to the different viewports. And now I've got the depth of field that I'm used to drawing for the last 25 years, the people that trained me and some of the things I learned in architecture school. So that's why I do it that way. Again, the thing about what I've done in this template is that it can be reinterpreted in some ways. If you don't need five viewports in your visuals, you don't need to use it. You can drop it down to two or three and do it the way you want. If you don't use all of my tags, you can change how you do it. The general foundation of the template and how tags work with scenes, that's the one that's interesting. A little off topic, but I'm very curious to know roughly how many slope certified professional freelancers are out there. I think we are at near 30. I think what's fascinating about this question, we have a free exam on our website and free exam, a free quiz on our website. It's 57 questions. We have almost 450 people who have taken this quiz now. And we check our numbers and check the percentages of who passes and who doesn't. And it's literally less than 20% of the people who take the quiz pass and can take the exam. Not everybody who's passed our quiz has taken an exam. I think some people just come in to see where their skill level is at. And so yeah, we've got a good slate of freelancers right now. We're trying very hard to find businesses, design businesses who have need for freelancers and get the word out that we exist and we're here and available to serve the community of SketchUp professional designers, architects, and all that. Thanks for that question, actually. That helps. If anybody else got a question? Nope. Okay. So let's move on to this. Who is Sloped and what are we doing? If you've heard of us, if you haven't, I'm just going to run through this. We have the certification exam. It's meant for us to qualify SketchUp freelancers. SketchUp and layout freelancers. There's a large portion of our exam that covers layout and making sure you're producing documentation because we match our freelancer with design businesses. The rest of our platform really was built for the three founders and anybody like us. So we've created a contract writing service that allows a business very quickly to produce a contract with the work scope of work and the money and how many hours and those kinds of things. Um, oh, more questions. Let me finish this slide and then I'll get to the questions real quick. So very quickly, if you have a contract within a day, sometimes 24 hours, you can have a freelancer working for you if you're a business. Number three, we do these are kind of the things we service. These three, four, five, and six is full SketchUp to layout service for any project, uh, landscape architecture, interior design, architecture, product design, cabinet and millwork, production of any kind. All these kinds of projects, we can service these and some other things as well. We have people that do the 3D modeling with the rendering on the end. We also have all the people that we certify are very capable with SketchUp and layout, and they can do template development for your brand and workflow. And they can also create scrapbooks and object library to service your need. We have a contract right now in our system that's for a producer in the Midwest of America who does garage remodels, and our sloped independent professional is creating an object library for this guy. So there's all kinds of different ways you can use SketchUp. We've had a company on the West Coast who produced plumbing diagrams for interior grow rooms in the agriculture industry, and they were looking for help. So it doesn't matter what your business is doing. If you have any use of SketchUp and you need a professional to help you, Sloped is here to do that work for you. So back to these questions. Um, Chelsea Morgan, do you have a video posted on showing how you stack layers and viewports? I do not yet. I know Slope doesn't have one yet. We have to go back and look on that though. I haven't done one. I was getting close on some lives last year, but I haven't done one yet. That's gonna be coming in the next 2 months probably to talk about how to work on that. I think this is another thing I wanted to tell the SketchUp staff is I think another really cool addition to layout would be some way to control or some kind of outliner for stacked viewports. Like you could see a list of the viewports and what layer they are attached to, and you could control that somehow. I think that would be a fascinating addition. Um, so yeah, hopefully down the road I can produce some content on stacked viewports. Let's see, Paul Lee, have you looked at 5D plus plugin approach to setting up drawings? I have not. I have seen their videos and I've been on their website a couple of times looking at their stuff. I haven't tried it. It's fascinating to me. Um, right now, honestly, I think the Korean community, this Korean SketchUp community, they're doing some cool plugins. They've really been contributing really well to the SketchUp community. I love their work. For me, because I do a lot of work in cabinets, I haven't had a need to do that kind of development. It's one of the reasons I came up with my template because I tried Nick Saunders and it didn't quite fit my workflow. So this is what I came up with to really service my own need. Gloria Brooks, what are the benefits that new architectural businesses might gain by using Slope freelancers? Great question. I like that question. This is going to be the question for the last couple of minutes. I'm going to put this up on the screen here. This is a QR code. If you want to schedule a meeting with Sloped and talk to us about what we're doing and what we offer and the freelancers that we can put with you to change your business, scan the QR, schedule a meeting, and we would love to talk to you and help set something up for you to change your business. Benefits. My business, Joanne's business, and Kendall's business has radically changed because of Sloped. We're the three founders, and honestly, if Sloped long term isn't successful, it's been successful for the three of us. We use Sloped freelancers all the time. All the time. We have a few customers, a few business customers, I think about five, that have multiple projects in the queue with multiple freelancers, sometimes one or two freelancers with five projects. I think there's one right now that had one of our freelancers has four projects with one particular architect. So this changes the dynamics. It changes what I'm available to do for people. Some of the Slope freelancers do stuff I can't do. They do renderings, they do animations, they know how to model in a way I don't. They know how to produce drawings that I don't know how to produce. I can take projects knowing in the background that I can go hire a Slope person. I could just get a job, get a Slope freelancer, have them do the work, and I just manage it. So if if you're a single operator, a two person to a five person, and you don't want to hire that employee because of all the things that come with it, you should consider a certified sloped SketchUp and layout professional because you only have to have them on board when the project is need when you need the work done. And the way our contracts work, we have a couple of different types. You can start with a project with milestones. You give a budget, break it down into three milestones, tell us how much each milestone is worth, and then we pay out as the work gets done. You can also move down if you get somebody that you really, really like working with, and you just want to send them work when you feel like it, set up a retainer project with us, and then they're yours for as long as you need them. Uh, Joanne, my one of my partners, she has retainer projects, I think, with or retainer contracts with three different IPs, and we just get invoices from the IPs when they're done doing the work. We don't even know the work's happening and just get invoices. Hey, pay this one. Oh, okay. So it's a real simple method. Once you get established with us, you get a connection with an IP. The road to simplicity for your business is changed dramatically. And the three founders can testify to that, and some of our businesses can testify to that too. Kendall's in here and he said very true. So he's agreeing and he's one of the founders. So Um, I think we're pretty close to done. We got about a minute left. Any other questions? If not, we really appreciate you joining. We're going to have more of these in the future, hopefully, maybe one a month, and talk about different topics or present different ideas that we've been messing around with. Uh, so pay attention, keep on track with our emails and what we're bringing out to the community. Looking forward to new things that are coming from Trimble with LayOut. I've seen the latest LayOut beta, and as a Mac user, I'm celebrating what they've got going on. So